Okay, I was in advance earlier. Well, I guess this is a how to install a fancy Bosch water temp gauge. The water temp gauge in my GMC, it was a cheap, crappy eBay digital thing I bought for, I don't know, like 14 bucks. I figured, oh, I won't be able to get anything that cheap. So, but in advance, you can buy these for like $16.99. So like that is just wicked dirt cheap. I guess you're getting an unboxing too. But I'll show you how to install one of these. Might not be the proper way, but it's how I do it. I've got a few of these on cars now that I've seen just how dirt cheap they are. And they're awesome. Bosch always makes a good product. That's the grinders and sawzalls, everything I own, drills, impactors, everything I own is Bosch. Always been a big fan. Quality stuff, always. Okay, we got some little screws and whatnot. You want to be careful with this stuff. You go bending and kinking this too hard and you're screwed. Okay, the next thing you want to do is just find a nice place to mount it. I'm not going to go here because I'm going to try and put the original 88 GMC instrument cluster. I'm actually going to try and like wedge it in here. Here's that eBay piece of crap digital temp gauge I bought too. That thing never worked, and then the dude like wanted pictures showing that it didn't work. I thought, I'm not pissing around like that. So I think I'll just go all up front and center with this thing, just to show off, hey, I got a temp gauge. But we'll go right here. There's already one hole. And that looks good. I'm digging that. All up front and center. Okay, now I've done this like twice. I just had it down here, and then I started to like run the line up into the engine bay, and you can't do that. You got to run it through here first. So always remember to do that. So uncoil it as nice as you can, because you know you put one kink in this, and then you're kind of screwed. You kink it once, and then you try and bend it back, and this copper or whatever this line is so brittle. So uncoil it nice. Beauty. Okay. And make sure you feed it through here first. Well, that's going to look decent. I'll even halfway attach this now. I'll find that one later. All right. Once it's halfway mounted, take your end. You find some nice place to shove this thing through here. That's my finger. All right, I hope this hole is big enough to feed that through. Feels like it. Feels like it. I hope. All right. Oh yeah, nice, perfect size. Should be okay if I pull it through now. Let's see. Oh yeah. That should be plenty. I think I'll just kind of follow along the overflow hose here, something like that. Maybe go, oh, that's for the old temp gauge. I'm tearing that out anyway. Probably just follow that and then go along these hoses. These good hose. He said they were good hose. Okay. Yep. Let's follow along them. Get a little more out. Maybe that's it. That'll be fine. I'll zip tie all this up later, all fancy. Probably not. Yeah, that's gonna look good. I was gonna try and do this like as fast as humanly possible so I wouldn't lose too much coolant, but I know like these are probably different fittings, and I want to use some Teflon tape on this. I'm just, luckily there's a plug here on the water pump I'm gonna go on, so yeah, that fitting, and then this will go into there. So I'll actually put this back in for a second while I Teflon tape this. Try and do this quick anyway. Oh geez. Oh man, come on. There we go. At least the coolant looks nice. I know there's no, I don't have a head gasket out, luckily. Plug that with my finger. I'll go about 60 foot-pounds on her here. Yeah, that's snug. Snugged her up good. Now, thread this in. Probably don't want to go too tight, like decently snug. Like that's probably too tight, but I like that. Go a little more. Oops. Okay, I messed up big time. The other one, I actually had to return this and go and get another temp gauge. I screwed up. When I was tightening this in, I didn't really realize how long that probe was, and I tightened it in, and then I heard it break. Like, and so I took it back out, and I noticed that this probe was missing. So I guess when I screwed it in all the way, I didn't notice that it would bottom out on the water pump casing edge. So yeah, I broke that other one. But luckily at Advance, the part store I usually go to, I buy enough stuff there. They didn't hassle or question. They just let me exchange the other temp gauge. So that was my mistake, and I'm lucky that they're decent there and they didn't really question it. So I didn't tell them that I broke it either. I just told them it didn't work. But so then I stopped at the hardware store and I picked this up. This is just a 1/2 inch nipple and then a 1/2 inch coupler. This was like 60 cents, and this was still less than $1. So I'll actually thread this in to there, and then I'll thread that into there like that. So it'll work good. It'll be a little ugly, but sometimes you got to get a little creative with where you're putting these things. I've put them in some pretty weird places. So if you can get a little creative on where you put your temp sensor gauge too, or your probe, but this is just in line to my heater core, just the 5/8 line that runs to my heater core. I just went to the hardware store and got just some fittings, some nipples, and then just a T. And then these are actually for my electric fans, but you could easily mount one from a temp gauge in there. And this will still be lower than the water neck. than the water neck on the intake. So I know it'll always be submerged in coolant, so it'll be fine. But okay, it's been sitting here idling for at least 5 minutes, and I guess that's pretty much where the needle has stopped. So I'm very pleased. I'm glad the gauge works, and I'm glad my cooling system's doing a good job. So yep, if you like this or you learned, please subscribe and like. Check out my channel. I got a bunch of other videos, just weird videos on this truck and other vehicles I'm working on. You can just see the madness, just the wild, low budgety builds I do. I don't care what they look like as long as they run. But yep, thank you very much.